Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our free lesson. My name is Habib Ibn Shaizan, and I am an application engineer from AcadSystems. Right. So thank you for joining. For today's topics, I would like to share with you about the AutoCAD dynamic block. So how we can use the AutoCAD block to give it a little bit more automation inside. Right. Welcome, Shazwan. Welcome, Azam and YTT. Right. Right, so this is basically the agenda for today's for the dynamic block. So we're going to take a look on some of the tools inside. We're going to take a look on some of the things that we can do. We can use dynamic blocks for base and move. We can use to rotate our block. We can align and flip our block and such other things. Now, let me just share my AutoCAD and we can just proceed. Right, so basically this is the list of the things that I would like to share with you. So let's start first. The first things that I would like to share, which is the base point, also the move tools over here. Now, when I click over here, this is the block that I have created before. Then you can see we have this base point created right over here. Now, let me just explode this block. And let's say if I needed to remake this as a block, so I can just type in command block block, and I can rename this. Let's say I'm going to rename this as a turbine front two, and then I'm going to pick a point. Let's say I'm going to pick at this point here. Then I'm going to select the object, and this will be the object that I have. When I press OK, so our block has been created right over here. You can see this is our base point that we have selected before. Now let's say if I wanted to change the base point, what I can do is that I can go ahead and edit a block. So this is the front two, which is created. And then from here, then you can see that our base point is selected at the origin XY point. So that means if I want my origin to be at the top of a hill, so what I can do is that I can select and move. So I'm going to move from this point up until to this point. So when I close my block editor and save the change, then you can see that my base point has been changed into this location over here. Now, what if I want to change to another location and that times I don't want it to be based on my XY coordinate. For example, maybe I want my coordinate to XY UCS to be on another location and I don't want it to be interfere with my block over here. So what I can do is that inside of block editor, we have the parameters which we can use to edit. Now, let's say I want to move at this location. From this location, for example, our origin will be at this point. This will be our base point, but I don't want this to be our base point. And then we can take a look at our parameter tab. So right over here we have this block altering palettes. So let me just put this one. So once you have opened up the block editor, to use the dynamic block, what you can do is that you can go into the manage over here under the block editor, under the manage and the altering palette. And here we have several other parameter sections that we can use to basically put some automation on our block. Now let's take a look on the first and basic one. On the parameters, we have point, linears, polar, and so on. So this will be some such as this will be like our buttons. The action is what we're going to do. For example, what are the changes or the automation that we would like to do. So in order to use the action, we need to have a parameter as a button. So let's take a look at the parameter first. For the base point, I don't need to have any action, so I can just put some base point. Let's say I'm gonna put my base point at this location over here, and this will be my base point. So if I hit close block editor, save the change, when I click at this block over here, you can see my base point has been changed right over here. So if I wanted to change again and edit again, so I can go into the block editor, I'm going to open from here, and then from here, and then I can use this base point to move someone else. So I cannot actually move another base point, so I cannot click another base point because it will show me the base points already exist, which is this one. So the only thing that you can do is either you move, change the location, or you delete this base point and put another one. Then when you close the block editor, then you can see the changes has been made right over here. Now this is just a changing our base point. Now what if I want to have several other points as well so that I can move easily? For example, if I use this base point, maybe I want to put at this location over here. But what if I want to pick at this point over here? So I don't want to use move. What I can do is that I can add another dynamic block. So I just edit it. Turbine. So next thing is what I can do is that I can put some points at the location that I want to hold. So I'm gonna go and put some points over here. Then let's say another point from here. And let's say another point here as well, and also here as well. So basically I have 4 additional points. So when I close my block editor, hit Shift change, and when I click this block, nothing happens. When I input that block, which is the turbine 2, what I can press here is that I can press Control key and allow me to change which is the location of the point that I wanted to pick. So I can just click, I can press the button Control key, and it allows me to change the insert location that I want. So I can just pick, and that is the location that I have picked. Again, so if I click again, no additional point has been shown from here. So if you want to have additional points, so we can add some attributes, which is the actions, into our parameters. Now, you can see that our parameters that we have included over here, not only that it has included this position 1, we also have this yellow exclamation marks over here, which indicate that no action has been added from here. So in order for you to put some actions, put some parameters, so your parameter need to have some actions, and only then it will be able to work. So if nothing, if no action has been given over here, has been inserted over here, it will give you this exclamation mark. So let's take a look on action, and let's add some move actions. Now I'm gonna hit move, so because I want to have this point button over here to allow me to move. So I'm gonna go with action, and I can select move. The first thing that it will ask me to do is selecting the parameter. So the parameter is this key over here that I have put. So I'm gonna pick this one. Then the next thing that it's going to ask me is selecting the object. So I'm gonna select this object, which allow me to move, and then I can press enter. So now you can see that the exclamation mark from for this one has been disappeared. So let's add another one at the bottom over here. I'm gonna put move. I'm gonna select this parameter, and I'm gonna select this object over here. Then I'm going to press OK. This exclamation mark also disappeared. Now let's start to test this one first. Now, in order for you to test, you don't actually need to close your block editor and go back to the standard model tab. What you can do on the block editor tab over here, we have these test blocks, so you can use this to test your dynamic block. So I'm gonna hit test block. When I click my block over here, then I can see I have 2 additional points which I can select, and then I can move. I can select and I can move. However, we have some problem over here. These points that we have included over here does not follow the block that we have over here. So let's fix this. So I'm gonna close my block editor. So the problem that I have created before is that when I select the object, I did not select this parameter as well. So I needed to add the parameter as well when I'm selecting the object. Now, if I needed to delete this one, I can just simply select and delete, and it will delete the action as well. But if I still want my parameter to be here, I can just directly delete the action from here. Right, so I'm gonna right click at the action. I'm gonna hit delete, exclamation mark has been here, right click, delete, exclamation mark appear. So let's start to add again our action from here. So from the action, move, gonna select my parameter and then the object. So I want my parameter to be included as well. So just select all, just make sure that my parameter has been included as well. Right, so this one has been okay. So I'm gonna do it again on the bottom one, selecting the parameter, selecting the object, and then I'm gonna select again the parameter because I did not select before. Press enter, and then when I go to test block and I click over here, then you can see the parameter has been selected here as well. Right, so I have made a mistake at the bottom over here. I did not select the top parameters. So you just make sure to select all of the parameters so you don't have to make any mistake from here. Right, so I believe we don't need this. Let me just delete it. And let's move to the next one. So I'm gonna close this one. Then when I hit, then you can see I have additional points. So if you put some more points over here, you have more ability to move this one. Let's move to the next dynamic block that we want to do from here. So the next one, let's say if I want to rotate my block. So I have created these two blocks over here, which I want to rotate. Let's say this one I want to rotate from this point over here, but I don't want to use rotate. So let's add some dynamic block. So now I'm gonna hit block editor. I'm gonna select my blade over here, and then we're going to add some rotate command for this to be able to rotate. Now on the action over here, we have this rotate, so we can use this rotate to add our rotate dynamic block. Again, in order to add our action, we need to have parameter first, which is the button for our action. Now I'm gonna go with parameter, and I have this rotate over here. So I can select this rotate, and then let's say I'm going to rotate from this point away. Select this point, and then I can select which is the location. Let's say from here. Let me just add some angle. Alright, so this will be my point button for the location. I have added my parameter. Let's go to the action and add some rotate. Select my parameter and select the object itself. So I'm going to select all, including the parameter as well. Press enter and start test. I click over here. I have this button which I can use to rotate freely. So you can see I can rotate freely my item over here. Now let's say if I don't want to rotate freely, maybe I want to add some more constraint, which is maybe I want to allow only rotate around 45 degrees or maybe 30 degrees. So let's add some tools that we can use to limit the movement of this. So we just close my block editor, and let's try with the second one, which is this one. I'm going to rotate this one as well, but I'm going to add some limitation regarding the angle. So again, go to block editor. So I'm going to find my block, so this one. And then from here, I can add some parameters, which is the rotation. From here, I want to rotate right from the centers. So from here, and I can add my location for my point, but let's say I'm gonna add at the 0 degree. So this will be my button right at the 0 degree from here. So let's add some action, and I can select rotate from here. I can select my parameters, and I can select my object and press enter. So if I go and test my block, I'm able to rotate freely. But before we do that, let's add some limitation. So I can select my angle, and what I can do from here, once I select my parameter, so that I can go into the properties, and we should have a little bit more things that we control from here, which is at the value set from here. So we have this angle types, which is set to none, which is allowing me to move freely. And then we have this minimum and maximum. Let's say for this minimum maximum, I only want to have able to rotate up until 90 degrees. And I can go and test my block. So when I click, I'm only able to rotate 90 degrees. So more than that, I cannot rotate further down. So let's add some more limitation. I'm gonna push my test block. And from here, I want to give it full rotation again. And what I want to give here is the angle types. I have the increment and also list. Now list, I can give some more list of angle that I want. Increments allow me to select 1 unit. It will allow to increment around that angle. So for this case, I'm gonna pick increment, and then the increment will be around, let's say, 30-degree angle. So you can see we have this increment shown over here. So when I test my block, it's only able to work for each 30 degree. So 30 degree, 90, 60, 90, 120, 50. So it's only able to move to the location. All right, so once we have done, so let's close our block, close our block editor and save. So I have this able to rotate from here. So I can also insert, which is my blade over here, and I can use to rotate at which degree that I want. Okay, cool. Right, so the next dynamic blocks that we're going to take a look is the align and flip. Now, for example, if I have this machine over here and I want to move it around. Now, if I click over here and I want to move along this line over here, it's only able to move at this point over here. Let's say if I want to move at the bottom over here, and let's say if I have these degrees of line over here, I also want my machine to be aligned with this line over here. So let's do that. Let me just undo this. Oops, okay, right. So from here, I can again go ahead and edit this machine. What I can do over here, let's say the first thing that I want to add is the align, which allow this to align to the lines and also the circle or the arc that we have created before. So if we do that, we can go to the parameters and then we have this line. So for the aligned, for this case, you don't need actions. Just like the base point, just put some lines and it will allow you to align at a position. I click this position, I click here. So the button has been here over here. I say I want to have a second align. So I'm gonna pick a line from here. I'm gonna pick here up until here. So I have two align button over here. So you can see no exclamation marks here because we don't actually need action to be input on this align. So let's close this one, save. So we have added over here. So if I click at this button, you can see allow me to put at this top over here. So it will try to align at this position over here. Right? And then I can also put it right at this line over here. So you can see, oops, let me just select over here. So I can select, then it will align at this line over here. Okay, and also add some more. Let's say if I want to fix, I can just go ahead and do some fix over here. Maybe I want to flip the directions. And maybe I also want to add another align, which is at this bottom over here. And I can close. And let's say if I add some more machines from here, I can just pick and I can select and I can align at the arc over here as well. Right? Maybe around this area. Right? So that is line. So this next thing that I would like to show you is the flip. For example, if I have this item over here and I don't want to have on this position, maybe I want to flip the other sides. So let's go and add some dynamic blocks for flip. All right. So machine. Okay. And one thing is that you notice when I click my insert, when I select my block data, you can see that some of the items have these thunderbolts. So this indicates that this item, this block has a dynamic block size, but compared to those that not yet been added. Machine. Right. So the next one is I would like to add a flip for my machine over here. So from here on the action we have flip. So again, the action we need to have a parameter. So from the parameter, I'm gonna add flip. And I can select from the bottom over here to the top, and I can select at this location as my button. So this flip, sorry, this is the button for my flip. So I can select and I can move. So I'm gonna select this position. And then I can select the action to flip. So select the parameters and select the object. And I press enter, and I can go into the this task block, and I can select and I can click this one to flip the direction of this item. And you can see we can add more than one parameters and also action over here. You can see our previous parameters also have been added from here. So let's add another flip. So I'm gonna close and I'm gonna add another flip. So from the parameters, I'm gonna add flip. The middle over here to the other side over here. Let me just here. And I have this flip button over here, which I can move. Let's say I want to move at the top over here. All right, so let's go to the action, add some flip, select the parameters, and select the object of this. So press enter, go into the test block, and then you can test the block directly from here. Now when I add my machine over here, so my machine not only just a simple block, but I can also use to flip and align with some other dynamic button. Now let's go to the next dynamic blocks that I would like to add. The next one will be the scale and stretch. Let's say if I want to scale this block over here. So if I go ahead and select my item over here, now we're going to add the scale. For scale, again, on the action we have scale, and in the parameter we have this linear or polar or XY. So we can use either one. Maybe if you want to have a polar, you can use polar. It will scale based on this distance over here. Maybe I don't want distance, I want to have a linear, so I can select linear, and I can select to have a linear. So if I select linear, right. So I have one. Then one thing that you notice is that we have two arrows over here, which indicate this will be the two buttons over here. This arrow that we have over here can also be edited. Maybe we only have, maybe we only want to have a one side of this arrow, and then we can use this to edit. All right, so we have added our parameters. Let's go to the action. I'm going to scale this one. I'm selecting the parameter and selecting the objects. Press enter. And now when I go into the test block, I can select this item and I can use to scale this one. So I can also select at the bottom of here to scale, but if you don't need this one, you can disable this one. For example, if I can select this one, I can go into the properties over here. So I only need to have one number of grid. So when I go into the test block, I only have this grid only. So allow you to scale this one. Right, so that is the scale. So next, I want to stretch. For example, I have this button over here that I would like to make it a little bit longer. So let's go and edit. So this will be a shaft. Now to add some action for this, we can use stretch. In the parameter, we can also still use linear or any of these that you can use from here. I'm gonna use, linear. We select from here up until the bottom of here. So this will allow me to stretch this line over here, make it a little bit longer. So I don't need to have two. So I'm gonna select these tools and just make it only one thing. From actions, I can select stretch. From action, I can select stretch. I can select parameters. And then the next one, it's asked me to select the parameter points. So the parameter points will be this one, which is the one that you want to click and drag it up. So I can select this. And then the next one, it will ask me to select the corner, which is the area that will be affecting to stretch. So this will be the area. And then lastly, it will ask me for the object, which is the object that will be stretching, which will be this one. I'm gonna add this one as well. Now the parameter, I don't need this one. Let me just check. Once I have selected all the necessary, press enter. I can select text block, and I can go ahead and you can see it's now stretched according to the value that I want. Maybe I want to have 10, so I can just pick and input the value of 10. Maybe I want to have only 5. Or maybe again, you want to have some limitations of a list of available length that you want. You can go ahead and check on the properties, and then you can add the distance type, maybe an increments, or maybe list of value that you can input directly from here. Right, so next we have a array. For example, if I have this fence over here, then I would like to make it a little bit longer without stretching this fences over here, which is what I want to do, is taking multiple fence from here. So for that, we can go and use the array command. Select fence. At the action, we have array. So again, I can use the parameters from here. I can add linear from here. So here, this will be the distance, and then the actions. Again, this one I don't need. I can also press delete. And then actions, I can select array. I can select the parameters, and then I can select the object that required. So press enter, and then it's going to ask me the distance between the columns. So I want to add from this point until this point. The distance will be around 4. So I'm going to add 4. Press enter. So you can see it is now available for me to use. Test. So when I select this one, I can select, and then you can see it will add some array at the bottom over here. Right? So pretty cool. And let's close this block and add some last one. So the last one, we have a visibility. The visibility dynamic blocks allow you to create to make some multiple variation of this block. So for this case, let me just click this one as a block first. Select this. I'm gonna put as block. I'm gonna name this one as a view. Pick point will be here, and this is the selected object. Now let's go ahead and edit. So what we're going to do over here, I only want to see one of these, and once I have selected one of these, I want to be able to change the view, which is the top over here, or maybe the side view over here. So that is basically what we're going to do with this option over here. So I can go ahead and edit block. So this will be the view. And what we have over here is the visibility that we can input from here. So you can see I cannot select anything because I need to input the parameter for visibility first. So let's go to the parameter, and then you have these visibility buttons for you to use. So I'm going to select visibility, and I'm going to put right over here, or maybe just a little bit further from here. So let's say around here, right? So this will be the visibility that I want to have. So you can see again we have these exclamation marks. We needed to include this at the visibility over here. Now, the first one we have visibility modes. We have make visible and also make invisible. So make invisible and make visibles allow you to select this item and make sure that it is appear or not. So the first one I'm going to do is make everything invisible. Right, so visibility, I don't want this to be invisible as well, so we just drop down. Now select everything and make it invisible. So everything is invisible. So I can select this just to toggle, make sure to see. And then the first thing that I want to do is that I'm going to select this one and want to make this as a visible. So this one is now visible, but for some reason it is white color. So let me just change the layer. Okay, so change. Okay. Never mind. If I just change it to black and we move to the black background, I might not be able to see clearly. Right, so let's just move from here. Now, this one has been visible. So if I turn off the visibility mode, I can only see this one. And then we have these visibility states, which allow you to give it a few visibility state that you can use. For example, if I go to the visibility state over here, and I can select and rename this one whatever I want. I say the first visibility state that I want from here, this one will be the front view. So I'm going to name this one as a front view. Okay. The next one, I'm going to have the other view. Next one will be the top view. Top view. All right. Okay, so for the top view, I don't want to see this front view over here. So I'm going to make this front view disappear as well. So the front view has been disappeared. What I want to do is I want to see this top view over here. So make visible, I'm gonna select this top view over here and press enter. This top view will be available to see. But of course, I don't want this to be at the top over here. So let's just move it downward. Right over here. Okay, I have our top view and front view. Let's create another one, which will be the side view. Side view. Okay, so the side view, I don't want to see this one as well. This one will be visible, but for the side view, I want this to be visible. So select this one, visible. So I can see this one now. I'm going to move this at the corner over here. So this will be the side view. Now, let's take a look. So we have 3 different views. So let me just press OK, and I can turn this one off. Now we can see we have front view, we have top view, and also we have side view. We can see we have a change of multiple things that we can use from. So I can hit close, save to change. Now when I click over here, I only have front view. So I can just drop down. Maybe I don't want to see front view. I want to see top view, or I want to see side view. And then you can basically create multiple variation over here. Right, so same for this one. Maybe I want to create multiple version of this this object over here. So I'm gonna create this one as a block. I'm gonna name this one as a turbine top. I'm gonna pick the point. I'm going to select this object from here. Then I can go ahead and edit this turbine from here. I can create multiple variations. So again, you can go to the parameters, add visibility, and select the point that I'm going to select at this point. This will be the visibility state 1. Let's say I'm going to add three types of visibility. So the first one will be, let's say, version 1. This one will be version 2. And this one will be version 3. Now the version 1, I can select which is the view that I don't want to see. Maybe I can just turn this one off. Oops. Maybe this one, I don't want this to see. Okay, I can turn this one as invisible. All right, so this will be the version number 1. Okay, so then the version number 2, I want everything to be visible. And I also want to have, let's say I want to have 2 of these turbine blade over here. So I can select and I'm gonna copy. Let's say I'm gonna add some more things. I can go to home. I can still access some more things from here. We can check which I can use to draw. We can trim. Right, so if I go to block later, so this will be the version number 2, and make sure that I want to have everything is visible from here. So this is version number 2. And then I have version number 3. Version number 3, let's say I want to have a 12 blade, so I can play over here and I'm gonna rotate. Oops, rotate. Okay, so for example, firstly I want to copy this one first. Then I'm gonna rotate this one. I'm going to put this at the top. So, oops, okay, I just move this one. Okay, I can trim this one so on, but let's say we just ignore that. Let's say I want to put some more things, such as holes. Maybe I want to put some offset. So this will be version number 3. And the version number 3, I don't want to see this side over here. So maybe this side, I also want this to be invisible. So I can just hide version number 3. So I have multiple versions. So then if I click close block editor, save the change. So I have simple version number 1, version number 2, and also version number 3. So that is basically the things that I would like to share with you about the dynamic blocks. So thank you everyone for joining. So basically that is all from me. Thank you everyone, and I hope I can see you guys on our next lesson. Right, so thank you very much and have a nice day.